Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badaraganam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ऋकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Verse number 20 and 21. And before we chant them, a little bit of a background for understanding these verses. Remember, this whole chapter has been a refutation of Jnana Karma Samuchaya, the contention and a belief that is both Vedic and contemporary. And what is the contention and the belief? That knowledge itself is not enough for me to be free. Self-knowledge is not enough. This again is a subjective view. It's not an objective view. 2 plus 2. What else do you need? Do you need to then sing? Do you need to dance? You don't need to do anything. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 immediately, you know. And this is not understood in the light of, not the light, in the context of self-knowledge, primarily because there is this feeling that I have studied for so many years, I have attended many retreats, and nothing has happened, therefore I should be doing something else. It's a subjective feeling, it's not an objective thing. So, Vastu Tantram Jnanam, which we have been hammering all these days, that knowledge is as true as the object, it has nothing to do with me, the subject. People don't understand now, and it was very difficult for people to understand then either. So the same thing is talked about there also in the context of the ancient India, because the Vaidika lifestyle was to keep busy. Keeping a person out of mischief means giving them lots of things to do from morning to night, so that there's not time to think of any mischief at all. And so the background for verses 20 and 21 is this feeling that knowledge is not enough, and so karma is there. Karma is needed. So this is called Jnana Karma Samuchaya, as we have seen. And there are three objections which Adi Shankara is keeping on refuting. The first objection is what? Just like the Agnishtoma, Agnihotra, etc., need certain other satellite rituals, Jnanam also must need some other things. Then, who are you to choose? The Veda is one whole document, one whole scripture, one whole body of knowledge. And if you have Shraddha, you will have Shraddha for the first part and what? For the last part, together. You can't pick and choose. And what does the Veda say? As long as you shall live, what will you do? You will do yajna. Yavat jivet agnihotram juhuyat. The sentences like this are there all over. So therefore, you can't just leave this and go to knowledge. So what should you do? You just keep reproducing kartritvam the whole day. And you're so busy doing all the karyas, the karmas written, declared in the Veda. Then what happens? Then maybe you will catch one class somewhere, and then what? Immediately go to sleep. That's all will come. Because whole day aham karta, aham karta. And how can that be negated by 1 hour of aham akarta? Not possible. So this argument is vihitatvat. Because it is enjoined by the Vedas, it has to be done. And then what is the third argument? If you don't do, you will incur a papa called pratyavaya dosha. Akarane pratyavaya. It's a sin, we can't say, but it's a omission. It is something by omission we will incur, and that will come in the way of even gaining moksha. So therefore, karma kuru. This is what is being refuted. So then with this recap, let us look at the verses. Atyare chayadityuktaha न्यासश्रुत्यात एव हि कर्मभ्यो मानसान्तेभ्यः एतावदिति वाजिनाम् अमृतत्वं श्रुतं तस्मात् कार्यं त्याज्यं कर्म मुमुक्षुभिः अग्निष्टोमवदित्युक्तम् तत्रेदमभिधीयते. Together. अत्यरेचयदित्युक्तः न्यासश्रुत्यात एव हि कर्मभ्यो मानसान्तेभ्यः एतावदिति वाजिनाम् अमृतत्वं श्रुतं तस्मात् त्याज्यं कर्म मुमुक्षुभिः अग्निष्टोमवदित्युक्तम् तत्रेदमिधीयते. So now in verses 20, 21 and 22, what does Adi Shankara do? Adi Shankara takes the help of the Shruti, takes quotations from the Shruti to buttress his argument, to tell people that I am not some kind of a freak where these ideas that knowledge alone frees and karma binds, this is not coming from my head. In fact, the Shruti herself says this. Shruti is obviously the primary source. That's why it is revealed, apaurusheya, not human made. And so therefore, it has more of a veracity. Usually we take 3 kinds of things: Shruti, Yukti and Anubhava. Shruti means that the primary scriptures are all declaring the same thing. Yukti means we use reasoning, and that also has been done. Reasoning, logic, not logic of the Nayayikas. That gets us into trouble. Logic means just simple reasoning. Like 2 plus 2 is 4, what more do you need? That is logic. And then Anubhava means it should not be contrary to one's lived experience. And that also we have seen. Like after seeing that something is like this is a pot, you see that this is a pot, what more apekshate, what more is needed to understand this? Nothing more is needed. There is no sahakari. This is our universal experience. So Shruti, Yukti, Anubhava, all of them are important in establishing and refuting arguments. And so here the Shruti argument is taken. This is not coming out of my head. The Shruti also says this. And the first, we will see two quotations. The first one is from the Mahanarayana Upanishad. We don't know where it is, and therefore we rely on Anandagiri's Tika, who tells us that it is in the Mahanarayana Upanishad. And so in the Mahanarayana Upanishad, Atyarechayat Nyasaha. This is the quotation. Atyarechayat Nyasaha. Nyasaha Atyarechayat. Nyasaha means short for Sanyasaha. Nyasaha Atyarechayat. Atyarechayat means transcends, is superior to, excels, however you want to put it. What excels? Nyasaha excels. What does it excel? Karma. Nyasaha here can be taken in two different ways. It can be seen as an internal renunciation of the fruits of action. Karma phalanyasa, which really accelerates the growth of the person to become more and more of an adhikari and to gain this knowledge very quickly because the adhikaritvam is already in place. Or it could mean sarva karma sannyasa, where ritualistically one declares oneself to be a karta and then proceeds to live that kind of a life. Both those nyasas are there and they have a valid place. Both those lifestyles of nyasa are there. In fact, karma yoga is also a lot of renouncing. Lot of renouncing of what? Ragadveshas. There's no room for ragadveshas because there is something needing to be done for which you have to outgrow the ragadveshas. So karma yoga is also a life of sacrifice. Sannyasa is also a life of sacrifice. But here we are talking about the connection between nyasa and atmajnana. Nyasa of whichever kind. Nyasa means giving up. So the giving up of this, keeping this desiring person, who is this? The jaded, faded jiva. Keeping this fellow up takes a lot of work. In fact, not just the person themselves, but the whole society has to keep them up. They are so needy and they need so much looking after. They need so much dealing. They expect everybody to walk on eggshells when around them. It's just very tedious. The whole the whole world has to upkeep this and deal with this fellow. And then everybody is like that. 8 billion people are like that, each one saying, I am targeted, why me? What's wrong with me? Why should I do this? Who's going to look after me? Who's going to love me? All these things. 8 billion needy people. Think about this. Yeah, horrifying. Even one needy person in one's life, one cannot handle. I mean, everybody is like this at the same time. Only Bhagavan can handle. Okay? Yeah. And so therefore Bhagavan says, even I will not handle, give up your ragadveshas. So the Shruti in the Mahanarayana Upanishad says, it atyarechayat, it excels. What excels? Nyasaha atyarechayat. What does it excel? Karma. It excels karma because when you are into karma, then one becomes a karma phalaholic. Karma phalaholic means I am addicted to the fruits of karma. And do I produce the fruits of karma? No, it's not in my hands. We saw that yesterday. It's not in my hands. So I just keep doing. For what? I don't even know if I'll get what I want. But I still keep trying, still keep doing, still keep angering everybody around me because of my own needs and frustrating everybody. I myself am angry, annoyed, and frustrated, but that doesn't stop me from more of the same. This is the situation. So the first quotation is from the Mahanarayana Upanishad. Atyarechayat nyasaha. Okay. Iti uktaha means it's like a quotation mark. Whenever you see iti, it's a quotation mark. Iti uktaha shrutya ataha. Ataha means therefore. Therefore means everything that has gone by from verse 1 to 18. So 1 to 19. So therefore, it is, therefore it is said by the Shruti, or we can take ataha as a segue to the next line. Manasantebhyah karmabhyah nyasah. Manasantebhyah means it's like another way of saying etc. Anta means that which sometimes we say dehadi. Deha, dehaha, adihi, yasya means the body is at the beginning of which list. Meaning what? Then you take the mind and the senses, things that belong to the same category. You don't take deha and then pumpkin. No. Things that belong to the same category, you add. And then that's one way of saying etc. in Sanskrit. Another way of saying is you take the last thing on the list and say manasantebhyah. Manaha ante yasya. The mind is at the end of which list? So then manasantebhyah what? Karmabhyah. So up to and ending with manasam karma. That means there should be other kinds of karma. Yes? What are they? Vachikam karma, what else? Kayikam karma, very good. Physicalized ritual actions. And then verbal actions. Like you can do yajna, you can do puja, you can have a procession. So, but then sometimes you sit and chant, you sit and do bhajans. This is also karma because we say do bhajans, do puja, there is do worship there. Or do meditation, upasana. Do various kinds of meditation, upasana, all these things. So the karma is of various kinds, and all the karmas here are to be given up. And Adi Shankara saying, I'm not saying that. Mahanarayana Upanishad is saying that. All the karmas need to be given up. Action is allergic to knowledge. And you cannot use action to produce knowledge. And once the knowledge is here, the action is rendered almost ineffective because what is the use of it? Well, what is the action for? Gaining things that I want. What is it that I really want? I want to know that I don't want anything. That is what it is. So once I know that I don't want anything and I don't need anything, will I keep doing? Not for the sake of getting something. I may keep doing because it pleases me. I don't have to do anything. I may want to do many things, like our Pujya Swamiji, who did a lot of things in the course of his life, started so many endeavors, but it was all for his benefit. It was for Loka Sangraha, people's benefits, all over the place. Everybody benefited from Aim for Seva and so many things. Dharma Samrakshana Samiti, so many organizations, so many endeavors, so many missions he started. And that was all because he saw a need and wanted to help out with that need. And so that is how it started, not for any other reason, not for his own benefit. And so the Kamya karma, the karma that I want for the sake of gaining some self satisfaction, that is completely allergic to self knowledge because self knowledge is about removing the non self satisfaction centered on the self. Centered on myself, I have a discontent. A discontentment that's constantly broadcasting in the form of raga and dveshas, wants and don't wants. And one becomes a control king, a control queen, all the time trying to control all the situations around oneself, making one's own life miserable and making the lives of other people around them also equally miserable. And so here, as a nice breeze of relief, we have the Mahanarayana Upanishad quotation, which says that this karma which is reproducing samsara. It's reproducing and retrofitting the notion that I am bound. It's retrofitting the notions of bondage. And then I keep doing something that is against logic. I keep producing karma phala, but that karma phala, I have no say in what I am producing. I'm keeping on producing something or the other which is inimical to me because it ensures that I will be born again and again. It ensures that the jiva will be keeping on being born and born and born. And if you say, what's wrong with that? Birth is nice. Sweets are distributed, laddus, mithais, when someone is born. Perhaps that's why the Kathopanishad says, Mrityoho samrityumapnoti. Yaha nana iva pashyati. Nana here doesn't mean grandfather, okay? Yeah. So, yaha nana iva pashyati. Nana means many in the place of one. Mrityoho samrityum apnoti. Birth to birth, nobody is worried. I'll have another birth. Big deal. What's wrong? Birth to birth, nobody is worried. But then Lord Yama puts it differently. How about you're going from death to death? Think about it. One death is itself difficult to imagine because you don't know how. We don't know how anybody is going to die. You don't know. And even thinking about one's own death, one doesn't know. Oh, will I go suddenly? Well, that's kind of nice because then I don't have to linger in bed and look at the resentment of the people having to take care of me. That's nice. Yeah, it should be just quick and it should be gone. I won't have a chance to say goodbye. So, even one death, I don't know how it is going to be. What to talk of death after death after death after death after death. Mrityoho samrityum apnoti. So who is this person who is getting death after death after death? Yaha, the one who nana iva pashyati. The one who, as though sees everything as many. I am different from you, you are different from me, he is different from she is different from me. It is, of course, different. Jagat is different, Jiva is different. Ishvara, who knows where he is, whether it's a he, she, I don't know. And so, like this, the one that sees multiplicity in the place of one, Nana Iva. And you see, even the Shruti is shy to say Naneva Pashyati, to see Nana Pashyati, because it doesn't believe in that, it doesn't see that multiplicity. So the one who, as it were, sees many, a vision of division instead of a vision of oneness, will keep going from death to death. Very beautiful quotation. Mrityoho samrityumapnoti yaha nana iva pashyati. And then how is it relevant here? So that means if I'm keeping on producing results of action without knowing what I am producing, I'm alienated from action, I'm alienated from the result of action, and life obviously becomes totally meaningless. I don't know why I'm going to work, I don't know what is going to happen, etc. And so, therefore, this Shruti Vakya says that compared to all the karmas that you can do, Kayikam, Vachikam, and what's the third one? Manasam, Vidya, Atyarechayat. Vidya means Nyasa, because without Nyasa, Vidya will not take place. It's a kind of an obscure quote in the Mahanarayana Upanishad. In fact, we have a better quote in the Mahanarayana Upanishad. There must be some reason why Adi Shankara used this quote. And the other quote, better means better known. Better doesn't mean that I'm saying I have a better quote than Adi Shankara, okay? Better known for us, more well known quote. And this is chanted all over the ashram. And it is chanted when we receive the sadhus, etc. What is that? When the sadhus are received, we chant this. What is that? Na karmana, na prajaya. So, na karmana. Yeah, I know you know it. Yeah. So, na karmana, not by karma. Na prajaya. How, na what means not by? What will I not, by karma, what will I not get? Moksha, amritatvam. Na karmana, na prajaya, not by karma, not by progeny, because this is the ancient belief that the children who are there will offer tarpanam. Tarpanam means will give some of their good karma to me after I have departed. This is how the person reserves, even in the afterlife, that some good karma will continue through the children. So the child will be generous enough to say, hey mom, hey dad, not only mom, dad, granny, grandpa, and granny's father and granny's mother on both sides. Okay, 3 generations. After that, we don't even know their names. So the child should be generous enough, the offspring should be generous enough to say, here is some of my good karma. We don't know where you are. You may be in some kind of a drafty, little moldy place, even in heaven, because not enough good karma you did. So here, take some of my good karma and get a better bungalow in Indraloka. This is what somehow this arakshana mentality, reservation. Everything I want to reserve. I have to reserve a spot. Are you there? No, I'm not there. So then why are you worried now? No, I want. And it's not just here, in the Hindu tradition. Even in other traditions, we found this. One mullah was caught, about this was in the 70s. He was caught by the police because he was saying that in heaven, would you like an orange tree in heaven? And people would think, yeah, I think that would be very nice to have an orange tree in heaven. Give 5 lakhs. Where? In heaven? No, now. Here. Give 5 lakhs. Do you want an orange tree and a mango tree in heaven? Yeah. Mangoes are nice. Yes, definitely. 10 lakhs. Okay, you look like you're a good person. So for 25 lakhs means 250,000 rupees, which in those days was a lot. Even now it's a lot. But for 250,000 rupees, I'm going to ensure that you have an entire orchard. And I'll throw in a free lawn in the front of your house where? In heaven. Very unscrupulous. But there were a lot of takers because I think in a way in Islam is a religion that originated in the desert. So anything green, trees, fruits, very welcome, very much welcome. And this person unscrupulously is taking advantage of people's sentiments. And of course, he was put in jail for conning the people. So this afterlife thing we will not leave. So the children become a reservation for getting promotion somewhere in afterlife, getting a better birth, getting whatever. So if you don't have children, oh my God, this is terrible. So therefore here it says na karmana, na prajaya, not by progeny. See, the origin of progeny is praja, same word in a way. So not by progeny. Na karmana, na prajaya, by wealth, dhanena. That na should come here also. Na dhanena, not by wealth. Tyagena eke. Eke means a few. See, the word ekaha is singular, but eke you make it plural. A few ones means rare it is. Not everybody can do this. A few ones, amritatvam anashire, anashuhu, anashire. A few people gained this immortality. And what is this immortality? knowing that I am not subject to go from death to death because I have disidentified from seeing myself as this body. I have disidentified from the body mind sense complex, and I have walked the ahankara over to understanding that I am the truth of the entire universe. I am non separate from Ishvara. This knowledge alone gives the freedom from being under the delusion that I'm as good as the body mind sense complex. How do I get this knowledge? Tyagena eke amritatvam anashu. Tyaga. And there is a very rich tradition, a very rich monastic tradition. Adi Shankara is saying here in our culture and in our scriptures that cannot absolutely be ignored. Just like you said, what did you say earlier? That vihita karma, the karmas that are enjoined should be done by all because it is part of the Veda. Hello, sannyasa is also part of the Veda. And the sannyasis you don't see, sit and see doing yajna. You don't do that. That's what. Niragnihi akriyaha. Bhagavad Gita describes this. So you don't see sannyasis, you should not see sannyasis doing homa. At least not doing homa for themselves. Like, may I have some more students? This is the homa. There is such a homa also. People can do that. What is that? Avahanti homa, it is called. And there is a whole set of verses. Kurvana chiram atmanaha. Please make me in a very short while. The teacher is chanting this. May I become famous. Yashaha jane asani. May I become very famous among all the people. Shreyan vasya usani. May I also get a lot of fame among people. May I be well known among people. And if they Google me, may I get so many hits that we don't know what to do. May I be very, very well known among everybody. And then being well known is enough? No, it's not enough. May people bring me, this is from the ancient times, nice furry animals, means cattle, sheep, etc., which can be used for money. So this is all a sign of wealth in ancient times. May people, bring me furry animal, meaning cattle and sheep, that's all. It doesn't mean guinea pig, okay? Yeah, that's not the idea. That's also furry. So may they bring me cattle, sheep, all these things. And then silver, gold, may they bring me. And then may I become very, very famous. This is a Vedic prayer in the Taittiriya Upanishad. In the first Shakha, first Valli of the Taittiriya Upanishad. And Pujya Swamiji once said that he was asked to chant. And one more thing I should say before I give the story of Pujya Swamiji. It also says, may the brahmacharis come. Brahmacharis means students. May they come from the east. May they come from the west. May they come from the north. May they come from the south. May they cross oceans to come to me. Make me that famous, O Lord. And then make me that well known. Make this knowledge that well known. Protect the students. Protect me. This is how it ends. And then so Pujya Swamiji was asked to chant this. And he chanted this religiously every day. And then when he couldn't handle how many people were coming from all sides, he stopped chanting. That is what he said. He said, okay, this mantra really works. So all kinds of, but this is for the grihastha teacher, not for the sannyasi. Not for the sannyasi teacher. In the ancient days, the rishis were married, and there were a lot of grihastha teachers. And so for them it is appropriate to ask for all these things, not for sannyasis. And so therefore, nyasa, tyagena eke amritatvam anashuhu. Anashuhu must be converted to anashire. Tyagena eke. A few have gained this knowledge through tyaga. And that tyaga means is a upalakshana for the rich monastic tradition. This is a very unique dharma where the monastic tradition is given a lot of weightage. Why? Because a few people away from society who are not embroiled and enmeshed in the codependence of this thing called samsara. You scratch my back, I will scratch your back. You give me this, and I will give you this. And this kind of each one leaning on the other, it is not there because the sannyasis don't lean on anybody else. Oh, but what about bhiksha? If you don't, what if I don't give bhiksha? If you don't give bhiksha, they will eat roots and fruits and survive. That is the idea. Food will, you are not giving the food anyway. Food is coming from Bhagavan. And that food, if one is meant to live, it will come. You can also try. One day you don't eat. Don't go to the dining hall. Today there may be nice things. So today please go. But I will not subject you to that today. But some other day, tomorrow when everything is done and cooks are tired, perhaps they'll make a simple thing tomorrow. So tomorrow, let's say, don't go to the dining room. If you're meant to eat, somebody will phone you. I don't see you here. What happened? Where did you go? Oh, but nobody phoned me. Wait for 2, 3 days. Somebody. If you are meant to eat, food will come. Definitely it will come. If you're meant to be in this body, if you're meant to eat, food will come. That's how sannyasis lead their lives. In fact, that's a particular kind of sannyasi life called Python Vritti, Ajagara Vritti. What does the python do? Just sits and waits. Some unwitting little small animal crosses the path. Now you see it, now you don't. Finished. Gone. And so, nyasa here is lauded in the Shastra because we need role models. We need people who can guide. If you go and tell somebody all your woes, then what will happen? Next time you walk, they will hide behind a tree because, oh my God, save me from this person. This person cannot stop talking. How much they are talking? You can't. Even the significant other won't listen. Why? Because the significant other has as many complaints about you, or even a few more, than you have about them. So the word significant will be dropped very soon if you keep telling the significant other all your woes. So that is done, that's not an option. So where will you go? So therefore, those people who are transformed by this knowledge are in a position to guide others, not just by listening to their woes, but by showing them the way. This is how I went, I have come. This is how I have overcome whatever is there in my life, because this is parampara, the tradition. The Shishya then becomes the Guru. And so, this is how I have overcome. This is how you can do also. We need the teachers, we need sannyasis, we need people who are untouched by this samsara as much as possible. And it is a valid lifestyle that is talked about at length in the Ishavasya Upanishad and in the Bhagavad Gita as well. Two valid lifestyles. You either take yourself to the knowledge straight away, burn the bridges and boats, and it's you and Bhagavan, you and the sky. Because we don't have a monastic tradition where the church gives stipends. We don't have any stipend. So there is no stipend, nothing allowed. You just go sit and then you teach and then you just live on whatever people give. That is what you do. And so this is the monastic tradition, which has a certain fascination. And it has a certain fascination. It's not spiritual romanticism. Because when you see a sadhu not complaining, then you also feel like not complaining. You also feel like being like them. And so that way it is very inspiring. And the Ishavasya Upanishad clearly delineates these two lifestyles right at the beginning. Tena tyaktena bhunjithaha Ma gridhakkasya svidhanam. Protect the self. How to protect the self? Tyaktena. This tyaga, same thing is being talked about. Tyaktena bhunjitha. Bhunjitha also means enjoy. So you enjoy the self best by letting go. Actually, this is true. Anything in the world you enjoy when you let go. When you're clinging on to it, the expectations are too many. You project the expectation onto that person, onto that thing, and you have Shobhana Adhyasa. We tend to have a value added addition, which it does not, the object does not have inherently in itself. So, this subjective overlay is increased by my clinging on to the object. And the more one clings to the object, the further one is from the being able to derive satisfaction from it. You let go, and then immediately you find that you find that you're happy. That again shows that the objects do not make one happy. The happiness is centered on the I. So protect the self by letting go. Enjoy the self by letting go. That's the first. That is letting go in tyaga, the word, or tyakta, it comes means sannyasa. Then the second line, kurvan eveha karmani jiji vishe chatagam samaaha. So live for 1,000 years, hundreds of years may you live, doing your duty and leading your life, but again, studying this knowledge. Studying this knowledge not as a primary occupation, but as a occupation that is done as along with every other thing that you have to do. In fact, the karma that you have to do, the kartavya, the duty, subserves the knowledge. There goes the excuse, I had swadharma, that's why I could not come to the retreat, that's why I could not come to the class, that's why I can't pursue Brahman. Wrong. Because Swadharma is what? Swadhyaya is Swadharma. The study of one's own Veda, which includes Vedanta, that is your Swadharma too. Swadhyaya adhyetavyaha. That is your Swadharma too. So you cannot say, I'm giving up this Swadharma for the sake of taking care of the family. Take care of the family, but also have the priorities proper. Have the priorities in place so that you can pursue this knowledge. And so here, these are two other quotes from the Shruti we have added to this. And then he says, etavat means this itself is enough. This itself is enough. And then he quotes one more. See, it's a kind of awkward construction because it's not prose, it's poetic. So there is a run on sentence from the 20th to the 21st verse. There's a run on sentence. And so, therefore, then the next one is Vajinam. Vajasaneya. Vajasaneya means the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. There also we have Tyaga. Where do we have? I mean, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, looking for quotes in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is harder than finding a needle inside hay. Yes, that is easier. So looking for quotes means where does this come? Thankfully, it's a very, very famous story. Yagyamalkya Maitreyi dialogue, where Yagyamalkya says, for the sake of Amritam, Amritatvaya, I am going to the forest. Ud aham yasyan, I'm pushing off from here. And I have given you all my wealth. And so you won't need anything. I'm off. He had two wives, Katyayani and Maitreyi. And Katyayani, we don't know what she said. She might have said, thank God, okay. You're leaving good news. Maitreyi and he were on the same wavelength. And so when he said to Maitreyi, because you're supposed to take permission from the wife, from a minor child, and from the mother, so not from the father, for sannyasa. because the mother has sacrificed so much. So then he goes to take permission from the wife, and she says, not granted, denied. Why? Because that for which you are going, will I get it from the wealth that you have left for me? Because I too am interested. I'm also interested in this. Who said only you are interested? So then, being an honest man, he says, Vittena nasha amritatvasya na asha asti. There is no hope whatsoever of getting moksha through money, through wealth. Wealth will not deny you moksha. Wealth will not give you moksha. Wealth has nothing to do with moksha. You will have upakaranavatām iva, like the people endowed with wealth who have luxury yachts and private jets. Your life will be very interesting and well endowed. You will never, whatever your wants are, they will be taken care of. But if you want to know why I want to immerse myself in this knowledge, then he gives the famous thing that for Amritatvam, for this immortality, for this knowledge that I am free of death. Not only death which comes at the end of the life, but the free of the small, small deaths I die every day. Each time the raga dvesha is violated, each time there is disappointment, disenchantment. The only freedom from this sense of dissatisfaction centered on the self is to gain this knowledge. Know the Atma. How? You have to, as though it has to be well known, as though you are watching it. Atma vai are drashtavyaha. Darshanartham kim kartavyam. What should I do in order to know the Atma? Shrotavyo mantavyo nididhyasitavyaha. Very famous. There also, the Tyaga is mentioned, the Tyaga is enacted, and besides, in another place, in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is the quotation: Yajnena danena tapasa anashakena brahmanaha vividishanti veditum icchanti. They are desirous of gaining this knowledge. Who? The people interested in Brahmana. How do they do this? Yajnena, the yajna becomes a preparation for growth, not something to be keeping on being done all life. This is very important. Danena, by reaching out actions, purta karma. So by ishta karma and purta karma, anashakena means through upasana, meditation. So all the karmas are there. Kamanasam karma, kayikam karma, vachikam karma. They graduate to let go of all that. So, being that this tradition has a very important monastic sampradaya, parampara, which is what? Has Vedic weight. It has the weight of the Shruti. It cannot be denied. You cannot selectively just take the first portion and then just ignore the last portion of the Veda just because it doesn't make sense to you. So then, Amritatvam Shrutam Tasmat. So the Amritatvam, which is talked about by the Shruti, what does it say? Tyajyam karma mumukshubhihi. If you are a mumukshu, then please reduce your fields of action. Reduce your engagement with words, with actions, with people, with objects. Reduce your dependencies. This is a reasonable thing to expect, because now I know that I want nitya, and nitya means what? It's not anitya. Nitya means it's not a karma phala. That which is infinite cannot be a product of my karma. So I have to reduce the actions. I have to reduce the engagement, give up the engagement. So then it says, Agnishtomavat iti uktam. So even though you keep saying that, Agnishtoma means like Agnishtoma, etc., the renunciation of actions is superior to the performance of actions, and then therefore, those who want freedom, those who want moksha, that is who has to be leaving the karma. And earlier it was mentioned that Agnishtoma, like Agnishtoma, there was an objector, the Purva Pakshi, and this is a reference to the back. Let's see where it is. Way back, okay? I'll give you the verse so that it will be easy. So earlier we had seen, maybe it was in, it's the same argument, jnana and karma. So it says, like Agnishtoma, here, number 10. Yeah, number 10. So way back it was said, and we may have forgotten, Adi Shankara has not forgotten. And he says, this previous argument that was given, what was that? It is like look at Agnishtoma. Agnishtoma is a ritual that takes one to heaven. That is the one that gives what is that? The passage to heaven. That is the one that gives the karma phala. But it has to be done with other anga rituals like upasana, like some other satellite rituals. And I gave the example of Agnihotra. Agnihotra, you can say, oh, only 2 offerings, wonderful. It will be done in 5 minutes, I can do this again. Yeah, but you have to do it 2 times a day. Okay, no problem. I'll do it 2 times a day. Well, if you don't do satellite rituals, you will not get the punya. Oh, what are the satellite rituals? You have to do something every full moon. Okay. Then you have to do a ritual every new moon. Okay. Then you have to have another ritual called Agrayana. Okay. Now it is, now one is being put off from Agnihotra. Is that all? No, no, no. Then after that, you have to give dakshina, lots of it. Okay, okay. I think I'll go for moksha. When dakshina comes, that time everybody suddenly becomes a mumukshu, jignasu. Then after that, then you have to have atithi, you have to feed all the people. And then you have to know where to offer the ghee. And the ghee has to be the right temperature, and it has to be offered in the middle, not from the left, not from the right. All these rules are there. And then by the time you even read the rules, you feel like going under the covers. It's so exhausting. And but still, technically, Agnihotra is giving you the phala of Swarga, etc., Agnishtoma, Agnihotra, whatever it is. But with the satellite rituals are Sahakarinaha. So this Sahakari argument that it is like Agnishtoma now again is being refuted. It was already refuted once. It's going to be refuted again. So this is also a Tatra idam abhidhiyate. Therefore, it is going to be said where? In verse number 22. Naikakaraka sadhyatvat फलान्यन्यत्यात् wait फलान्यत्वाच्च कर्मणः फलान्यत्वाच्च कर्मणः विद्या तद्विपरीतातः दृष्टान्तो विषमो भवेत्. Your example that the pursuit of moksha through knowledge is like the performance of Agni karma is a dushita drishtanta. It's a flawed example. It's not a correct example. You can give lots of examples, like poetry is full of examples. And you can say that the daffodils, William Wordsworth wrote one ode to the daffodils. The daffodils are like the stars, they are something like that, very beautiful. That's correct, that's wonderful. The daffodils are like shining like the stars, and he saw them suddenly he was just taking a walk and he suddenly chanced upon a lot of daffodils. And then he compared the daffodils to the sun, to the moon, to the stars, all these things he compared. Very nice. So that is called, that is a drishtanta, that is samadrishtanta. Samadrishtanta means it's appropriate. It is sama, it is appropriate. But here, your comparison of Agni Hotra Karma or Agnishtoma, Agni Karya to the pursuit of moksha, where the two have nothing in common at all. Supposing Wordsworth had instead said, daffodils are like what? Mushrooms. And they have nothing in common. Little mushrooms which you see, they have nothing in common. And so that would be what is called Vishama Drishtanta, Dushita Drishtanta, a Drishtanta that is forced, a Drishtanta that has nothing to do with anything at all. And then so he says, let me help you out with a better example for you. You seem to be itching to have an example for Agni Karma. Let me help you out. Because Agni Karma has many satellites, many things that you have to do before you get the fruit. 2 plus 2, knowledge, does not have any sahakaritvam. So let me give you a better example. And what is that example? We will see at 4:30. So today's schedule, 4:30, there will be class, and then there will be question and answers at 7:30. And then if people want to see me, I will see people at 5:30. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om